All right. Lots going on in the City of Pensacola today. Obviously, exciting night last night. I talked to Willie Richardson, Keyla's dad, last night after the show, and I said I might have gotten the third most calls in the family, other than you guys, which all people very excited for all of the events tomorrow. So, huge congratulations to her, and I know this will be an awesome celebration and. The ability for our community to rally around unanimously something in a time where it feels like all of us in this country can't agree on something. I know in the city of Pensacola we'll all agree that not only has Keyla represented us so well, but it's something that we're very, very excited to celebrate. So I do know that her and a bunch of American Idol crew are in the air as we speak, coming back tonight. I think there's maybe 15 or 16 production staff coming in from American Idol. So just to recap on some of the things, and I'd love, again, you guys have been great sharing the information on tickets, on what is and isn't allowed. We'll obviously continue to share that, so I'll repeat some of it. But the amphitheater, which I believe is going to be 5,000 tickets in total, you recall sold out in about 54 minutes. And as of this morning, maybe 8:30 or so this morning, I think almost 5,000 of the overflow tickets of the 6,200 available are gone. So that's as of about an hour ago. So there's about 1,300 left for the overflow in the stadium. And so you can still go on KeylaFest.com and get those if there are any available, 6 maximum. The parade lineup. The parade will begin at Cedar and Palafox Street and go south towards Plaza de Luna. The parade lineup will begin at 4 p.m. Obviously free and open to the public, and we're encouraging across the board, both the parade and the concert, to wear black and yellow. And I'm walking the walk for you guys at the press conference today. Gates will open at 5:30. If you have a stadium ticket, you will go in the stadium just like you're going to a Wahoo's game. If you have an amphitheater ticket, it will actually be on the west side of the stadium. There'll be a barricade and a security gate outside, basically kind of between the marina and the stadium. So we'll have people trying to direct everybody as best we can to get you in the right spot, but there won't be any exceptions. Stadium ticket goes in the stadium, amphitheater ticket goes in the amphitheater entry, just from a security standpoint. Again, fans are encouraged to wear black and yellow and demonstrate their support for Key Hive. One of the questions that has come up, many questions have come up. One of them is, if someone has a boat, will they be able to go out there from a security standpoint? The answer is yes. Actually, as a matter of fact, the producers have mentioned that a couple times, of just the cool backdrop and obviously the beautiful backdrop of Pensacola Bay. The Sheriff's Department has been gracious in allowing us some security on the water out there, so with some of their vessels. So we will have some security out there, but boats are permitted, and just your normal boat operations and rules and regulations around that. We've been saying no bags. One exception to that, the small clear bags are permitted, a la the NFL rules, professional sports rules. If someone has medication, things like that. We're talking about kind of like the 6x9x12, very small. Exactly, if you've been to a professional sporting event or a concert, those will be allowed, but that will not be backpacks, duffel bags, anything like that. The parade will end at the foot of South Palafox. There'll be a short ceremony there. I do know that Tate High and Washington High bands will be participating in the parade, which is awesome. We're excited to have them. I know that Keyla's school has made a float for her that will be included. And I know, again, a huge thank you to Pensacola Mardi Gras for coordinating that aspect of it. Lots of logistics going into that, and of course our police and fire. So we'll have a few of the floats that are going to actually be static along the route, and mainly it'll be a second line, the bands, the school float, and a few other things. There'll be a second line that will actually leave from the ceremony at Plaza de Luna that will go to the stadium. So there'll be a large group of folks, concert goers, that will walk those 5-6 blocks back to the stadium following the parade. And again, huge thank you to Synovus Bank as a sponsor of this to help offset some of those costs. Commissioner May me and him have been in constant contact, almost as much as the with the producers in trying to make sure that this is a great community event for us to celebrate. Beach Davis mainly has spent 100% of his time logistically in our Parks and Rec department trying to make this happen. Morgan as well. Our entire Parks and Rec team, they're out making sure that the facility's ready to go. Police and fire, the sheriff's office, our PIO office, Chris Phillips, our small business community has been awesome rallying around this, and really for weeks you've seen them out rooting Keyla on. And what I can tell you from what the producers have talked about over many weeks of time is that matters. And I kind of joked that we didn't know what was going to happen last night, but we wanted to make it very difficult for producers to decide against coming here. And when you say that 8,000 or 9,000 people have collected tickets and thousands of people want to go to parades, and I can tell you the conversations that we've had with Keyla's family and with producers is it was very noticed by all of the everybody working on the show, how much enthusiasm there was in Pensacola. And so I think our community rallied around Keyla and did an awesome job of making it too difficult to choose otherwise, is the way I see it. And so this will be an awesome thing for us. There'll be a 4-minute segment during the finale. That is what they're coming in to shoot. So there'll be during the 3-hour finale. It will air on May 11th. We are not trying to think about another event before we've got this big event in front of us. But I have had just a preliminary discussion about, for the finale itself, if there would be some type of community watch party at the stadium or something like that. More to come, and obviously I won't see you guys, or I would see you right before then. Something would come out this week. So that is not set in stone yet. And that would be obviously nothing to the degree of what we're doing for this homecoming celebration, but in terms of maybe opening the doors, having concessions open, and being able to watch together on the Jumbotron for the finale and watch this Pensacola segment on May 11th. So more to come on that. That is not finalized yet, but we are looking into that. I think that's everything, and we'll be happy to take your questions on all of that. The Palafox update. The May 15th gallery night, as normally scheduled, will still be, should be maybe the last one, but will be on Jefferson Street. And then the May 29th Grand Fiesta Parade will also run on Jefferson, even though technically the project should be done by then, given the planning that goes into that and the preparation that goes into that. We didn't want to run into any issues. So the Fiesta Parade will run the same way that the Mardi Gras Parade ran back a few months ago. We're looking at opening the Romana block of Palafox to pedestrians only the week of May 12th. So that is the northernmost block, starting at Vinyl there at Garden Street. And that would be 1 week before the incentivized completion date. The final walkthrough in the punch list assembly is Wednesday, May 6th, with the expectation to transition the construction fencing on May 11th to the east side streets. Remember, we're going to start working on those side streets as well. So everybody I know the small businesses. We're down there all the time. My family and I supporting the small businesses down there. I know they're very excited about not only how it's looking, but that we're on track with time. So we'll have more updates for you as we move along. But we are in the final month and on the final stretch. As of today, the recycling drop-off has been relocated to Leonard Street, and everything is up and running as of this morning. And remember the hours there: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the next mayor's cleanup is May 23rd. And then one other quick note: the new payment system is online that I mentioned recently for sanitation. If you go on their website, you can create your new account. Venmo and PayPal customers are using that system as well, and we've already had more than 2,000 transactions. So that is up and going. There is a delay for Apple Pay customers. If there's specific Apple Pay, we're working through that, but that should be resolved in the next 7 to 10 days. So just appreciate your patience on the Apple Pay customers. Airport, a couple new routes this week. The Contour Airlines inaugural flight from Pensacola to Cape Girardeau, Missouri is on Wednesday, tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we will have the inaugural flight from Breeze between Fort Lauderdale and Pensacola. And that, I believe, is going to be 6 times a week. So that'll be almost daily service going to Fort Lauderdale. Spirit, just to comment on that, obviously you've seen the national news there. That was about 7% of our passenger traffic from PNS. The other airlines have mostly filled that void in terms of Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. If you've been following the new service announcements we've been making, I think that a lot of that activity has been preemptive. Frontier, Breeze especially, have already gone in, as we just mentioned, with Fort Lauderdale service that Spirit used to conduct. Breeze has already been planning on that. So I think there was some anticipation within the airline markets that this day would be coming. And so for the most part, the Spirit service that was provided out of Pensacola has been filled in with other carriers. So that shouldn't be too much of a operational impact to us. Just a quick update on Gibson School. The CRA should have a completed structural assessment of the former Gibson School on C Street. We obviously had gotten the initial structural assessment that there was concerns about having operations in the building, but this will be a complete structural assessment. So why do that? It allows us not only from a grant standpoint to kind of know better details of what's going on, but also we know what's in front of us. What kind of restoration project are we going to be looking at, and what can or can't be done specifically in restoration? So we're looking forward to getting that back. The limited assessment was done in May of 2025. It identified about 1.3 million in immediate and short-term repairs needed. And that included roof, windows, fire suppression, HVAC, some things like that. And this will help us identify all the deficiencies and provide a phased scope of work. Obviously, we'd love to save that structure. That's why we got into this. That gets confused, I think, sometimes. I think from the initial jump, we mentioned this is going to be a long-term project. We did not look at Gibson in any form as something that would be quick or flipped short-term. The primary goal of Gibson was to save Gibson. So we're proud of that, that this was not going to see a wrecking ball going a different direction or into private hands. So our team will be working on that now in the foreseeable future. So when we have that structural assessment, obviously we'll share that with you. Very encouraged by the ECT program committee's scoring of the City of Pensacola Parks and Rec grant application that scored 100.3 out of 110 possible base points, and 3 scores are still pending. And I know it was a 3-hour meeting and there was some time constraints and things like that. And I think they're reconvening on May 29th. But the initial scoring of our Parks and Rec after-school program, we certainly here at the city know the value of it. And so we appreciate the board seeing the value of that as well, and the impact that that's having on children in our community. Last thing, 2 things. Mayor Campos from Machera Villaya, Spain, is in town to celebrate Galvez Day, our sister city, and Galvez's hometown. I believe he just got in either yesterday. I believe it was yesterday, and he's around today. There's a full week of events. If we weren't busy enough, we've got the Keyla celebration tomorrow, and we've got Galvez week really ramping up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So glad to have Mayor Campos in town. And then lastly, just a note with our LPRs, license plate readers. We had another incident where we were able to catch someone. There was a domestic violence call. We were able to find the tag, locate the vehicle, and that vehicle not only had the person that was we were looking for, but also had a large quantity of drugs in the vehicle. Again, nothing other than the fact that we certainly want to share that technology is why I believe we're seeing crime drops around the country, and we certainly appreciate being able to find the bad guys when we're looking for them. So that's good news out of our police department. That is it, and happy to take your questions. Yes, sir.
Is the Keyla entourage still landing in New Orleans?
Yes. Yes.
And the technicians?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the American Idol team and Keyla's team are landing in New Orleans. Her son and dad are coming back as well. And so they'll be in here mid-afternoon, evening. But she ain't going to get a lot of rest. They're going to jump right to taping around the community, sound checks, all of that. Just as an anecdote of that, I mean, we've been hanging speakers and lighting equipment and things like that. That's already taking place it started yesterday at the amphitheater. And I think there's 7 band members in addition to Keyla, that need to be wired up, and they'll have a sound check on Wednesday as well. So lots of logistics that are going into to pulling this thing off. So yes, all of that team will come in from New Orleans, and they will be arriving into Pensacola at some point today.
Do you see this as like the first time, I guess, something big like this has happened here, where you have like a national show like this coming to the area, I guess highlighting it, and what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'd hate to say, since 1559, I'd hate to say it's the only, but I certainly would say as long as I've been here and growing up here, it has to be an extremely rare occurrence that we have this type of eyes from all over the world that'll be on the city. And that's, as I shared last week, I think that's why we've been so invested, that Commissioner May's been so invested, is we get to do two amazing things at once. We get to have a celebration as a community together, rallying around something that we can all get behind, which is lifting up Keyla and her family, and in this world spotlight for her. And the second cool thing we get to do is we get to show off how amazing this city is and this community is to 6 or 7 or 8 million people all over the world next Monday. And those opportunities are extremely rare, if not unprecedented, to be able to put our best foot forward, which I know we will. And that's whether that's somebody who's flying in to say, should we invest in the city, or someone who's traveling here to say, hey, I want to move to the city. Call me biased, but I feel like when we get people here, really the work takes care of itself. This is a beautiful place. It's a safe place to live. We have such welcoming and philanthropic people here. And so we've got lots of moving parts for tomorrow, but the thing I'm most confident in is we're going to show up and we're going to make this a really, really special thing. And my full expectation when this American Idol crew leaves is this might be an unprecedented experience for them as well, and considering how much positive reinforcement and love in the community that there will be for Keyla and her family. So we're really, really excited for it, and we're also prepared and ready to go.
Mayor, what has Visit Pensacola contributed to this week?
Yeah, we're discussing between Commissioner May and Visit and ourselves their willingness to contribute. We're just figuring out the right mechanism of which to do that, whether that's helping specifically with the AV or whether it's just kind of a general event TDC thing. I'll leave all of those knowns or unknowns to the people in charge of it. But what I can tell you is I've had conversations across the board at the county, and what I know we all agree on is that the tourism value of this is immense, and certainly will any request that will be coming from the city. And remember, any request that we're partner in or asking for, whether it be directly from Visit, TDC, the county, or otherwise, is number one, certainly the city is contributing, especially on the public safety side. I mean, just all the bandwidth alone to get here from our staff and all that, which we're happy to do, but given this, what a special opportunity that this is for our city. But to show that beautiful beach and Oahu's game and our Blue Angels and all of that to 7 million people, again, what would that cost? And it would cost exponentially hundreds or thousands of % more to do that if we were paying for it as a commercial or an infomercial or anything like that. So to have this opportunity, one thing I know all parties agree on is that you can't argue the value of what this will mean to put eyes from outside this community on our community. And so mechanisms, tactics of how they can support it, I'm working alongside them, and that those conversations continue, but I would expect we'll land somewhere that kind of makes sense for everybody. But our main concern right now is safety and making sure that this thing goes off without a hitch, and we're certainly prepared for that.
You had said earlier that there's a ball game.
Yes.
That 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, somewhere earlier in the day. Right?
Yeah, and just from because of the variability of the schedule, obviously Keyla's schedule is set by the producers and where they film, when and where, and from a security standpoint, we probably won't speak about proposed times and things like that. However, I can certainly say is in the plans now for her and Drew to go on base and see the Blue Angels and other military members on base, as well as a possible appearance at the Wahoos game. It's coincidental timing. It just so happens the one game a year that the Wahoos play for the school district that was been on the schedule for months is this Wednesday 11 a.m. game where 1,800 or 2,000 kids from all over are bussed in, and kind of becomes a field trip and a great opportunity for them. So what a cool, special opportunity to have all those Pensacola kids be able to maybe interact or celebrate with her. So when she'll get there, what that will look like, obviously don't have any details on that, but I know that that's been discussed. And so obviously I think there'll be some activity on the beach as well. And then I'm sure that she'll make an appearance at her school, at some point. So when and where those all get shuffled together, obviously don't know, but I think it's a pretty good mix of opportunities for people outside of Pensacola to see what a special place this is. And again, from a city standpoint, I know from a county, sheriff, police, fire, military standpoint, we're at the ready to help them put our best foot forward.
Do you know if Sterling, is the museum got the lead, or does Mama Son have the lead? Do you know how all that is?
I think most of it right now is being run through the PIO's office because of, there's a couple different things. There's the general base operations, and there's also the Blue Angels, right? So there's kind of, the common denominator, I think, is just running through the whatever the term, the PIO's office here. The equivalent, Bruce over there on base, is the one that I think is doing all the coordination of getting all of the American Idol staff and production team on base, clearing vehicles, all of that. I know there's lots of paperwork going back and forth between them. So we're obviously a third party to that, but I think it's just running through kind of the PIO office over there.
I also just wanted to ask about the mall takeover situation that happened on Saturday.
Yes.
We talked with the chief yesterday. He said, I think they're meeting with the mall today. Is there anything else you kind of want to add on that?
Not really. That would be really my update is, and I would defer any of the details. I know they handled the situation, and that Chief Winstrom is reaching out, not only from a short-term standpoint of the recent incident, but that's a big gathering place for lots of people. I think for the long term as well is anything that we can do to be helpful if something else were to arise. So in terms of details and all that, I don't have them, but I have full confidence in Chief Winstrom and our PPD to be able to manage that relationship and make sure that we keep people safe there.
As far as the end of the parade, is there some type of presentation you plan on giving?
It may end up moving this. Welcome to TV. It's kind of a variable. We will present a key to the city. I know talked to Commissioner May about a resolution from the county. The initial discussions were that we would do it at the end of the parade. As of yesterday, it may move over to before the concert. Not sure. We'll take TV's lead on that, and that would only be decided by timing. In terms of where Keyla needs to be and when. Up in the air, but it will be one of those two places where the city, and it sounds like the county, will be presenting her resolutions and Keyla's to the city, I believe is what we're calling it.
There's a lot of fine tuning remains, doesn't there?
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have a lot of good community partners. I think this is not something that the city's taking on alone. Certainly not even just from a financial standpoint, but an operational standpoint, to have the Mardi Gras folks who do this for a living help with that part of it. But I'm just so proud of our team and our city. A lot of times you probably have a year to plan this. We've done it in 10 days. I joke with Beach Davis, who's coordinating on our side, kind of all the day-to-day of the concert, or all the hour by hour, really. That I was like, man, we're becoming amateur concert promoters over here, and hey, who knows? Maybe on the other side of this, it'll be easier to activate that amphitheater because we've been through it ourselves. Not that the city wants to get into that business, but there's never a better learning experience than going through it yourself. Not only if the city were to want to put on more community events at the amphitheater in the future, but even when other people want to do it, once you've lived it yourself, and especially in a short time frame like this, we learn a lot as well, and maybe we can make it even easier for people to be successful there, or be more confident in promoting, allowing people to use it. Where really, as you know, for years and years, there's been sporadic use, but it's relatively underutilized and has been really since it got put in. So that I would say long term, that's been a very unintended but positive consequences. We've kind of gone through the chapter and verse of how to handle and manage one of these things internally that will only be helpful to the community to see more events there.
Has there been any economic spinoff, or will there be, for small business to accommodate a production like this in terms of subcontractors? Maybe what Parks and Rec needs some help.
Yeah.
Limos, rental cars.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of that. Obviously, we don't have specific numbers, but say, like you mentioned, I know, for example, Keyla and the American Idol production team will be using a limo, and I would assume obviously they're not bringing it, so they'll have that local. I think if we're now close to 10,000 people downtown. I think the small businesses downtown before the parade, after our parade and concert, before and after those things, I would certainly, if I was a downtown small business owner, I'd probably check my hours on Wednesday and maybe open a couple hours earlier, stay open a couple hours later, just in the fact that we're going to have, a good 10, 11, 12,000 people downtown. So I think that's certainly a good thing. Production, AV, security, the Wahoo's employees. Remember, it's going to be staffed like a normal game. Those are local people that are typically part-time or only getting those hours if there's a game. So they'll have a long day. Obviously, they'll have the day game, and then that crew might be staying on longer. So that's certainly more money in those folks' pockets. So yeah, anecdotally, again, it's not a huge. It's 16, 17 people staying in hotels and eating meals here. And we're also offering some space to the production team here at City Hall during that Wednesday to be able to, run logistics on a lot of moving parts. I couldn't even imagine what all their moving parts with separate camera crews and everything like that, all over not just the city, all over the region. So we're going to be as accommodating to them as we can. But yeah, certainly I think there'll be a good pot for small business and downtown, both from a concert goer and parade goer aspect, as well as a little bit of that with the team coming in.
One other thing here, Mayor. Could you talk a little bit about, or a lot about, the traffic down there, Main Street?
Yeah.
I personally haven't seen the plant yet.
Yeah, right.
But would you describe that?
Yeah, thanks. Good question. So Main Street will stay open the entire time on both counts. So just for the citizens out there watching. So Main Street east-west will remain open. It will not be closed for any part of the parade, and it will not be closed for any part of the concert. Now, it will operate at the concert just like it does at a Wahoo's game. If you drive down there before Wahoo's game, I'm not saying there won't be delays if you're using Main Street, but there will be police helping people cross the street. As you can imagine, given the fact that we're now, the normal capacity of a Wahoo's game is 5,000 or 6,000. We're talking about 9,000, people coming between the amphitheater and the stadium, so 9,000 plus. And so, even if we have 20% attrition because there were free tickets that got claimed and don't get used, we're still talking about conservatively 7,500, 8,000 people. So larger than a normal Wahoo's game. So that means people will be parking to the north of Main, needing to cross Main Street. But logistically and operationally, Main Street will operate east-west just like it does during a normal Wahoo's game. So pack your patience if you plan on using Main Street, of course. If you're coming in from Gulf Breeze or coming in from the north on I-110, I would honestly kind of point to that same parade recommended route, which is kind of like Cervantes to A Street, or kind of get around that downtown core and get on the west side if that's where you plan on parking. But there will be no closures, and we were very intentional about that given the short time frame. And the permitting and everything else that would go with closing Main Street, and the fact that we got a lot of construction going on right now. We got Brancas, Garden, lots of different places. So Main is a pretty crucial spot for us, even more than normal. And so we were very intentional about making sure that stayed open. Anything else? All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.